Alright, so this is going to be my second example using the shell method. We're going to revolve a graph about an axis and find the volume of the solid of revolution. Alright, so the formula is the volume is equal to 2 pi times the integral a to b of p of x. Okay, and p of x, that's the radius, that's the distance from the axis of revolution to the thickness of the shell. And then h of x is the height of the shell, and then the dx or delta x, that's the thickness of the shell. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at an example. Find the volume of the solid of revolution formed by revolving the region bounded by the graph of x equals y to the equals e to the negative y squared and the y-axis from 0 to 1 about the x-axis. Okay, so first thing we want to do is make a sketch. Okay, there's 1, there's 0. So the graph is going to look something like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that off. Alright, so now we need to draw a rectangle in there. And remember, whenever you're doing the shell method and you draw that rectangle in there, the rectangle needs to be parallel to the axis that you're revolving it around. So we're revolving around the x-axis, so the rectangle needs to be parallel to that axis. Okay, so there's our rectangle. Now remember, we need the radius, and the radius is measured from the axis you're revolving it around to the center of the rectangle. Okay, so in this case, our radius, and this is going to be in terms of y, because you see the thickness here, that's delta y. So everything needs to be in terms of y. So from here to here is y. Now we need the height of the rectangle. So the height of the rectangle, and that's in terms of y, is h of y equals this function here, e to the negative y squared. Alright, so now let's get our formula for the volume. So the volume is 2 pi, and we're going from 0 to 1 of the radius. Okay, remember the formula, the radius, which in this case is y, times the height, or I guess you could say the length, which is e to the negative y squared dy. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about integrating this. You should be able to integrate it using substitution. You would just let u equal negative y squared. So du is negative 2y dy. And you can see we have a y and a dy. The y and the dy, we need a negative 2. And then we would need to come out here and multiply by negative 1/2. Okay, and after we do all that, we're going to end up with, after we integrate it, we'll end up with negative pi, and that's going to be e to the negative y squared from 0 to 1. And if you're having trouble with the integrating at the substitution, I have some videos on doing that. Okay, you can check those out. Alright, so now this is going to give us negative pi times, that's going to be e to the negative 1 squared minus e to the negative 0 squared, which is equal to negative pi times, and then this is just going to be 1 over e, because when we square the 1 we get 1. Remember, the squared's not on the negative, so that's going to be -1 up there after we square the 1. That's -1, which is 1 over e, minus, and then anything raised to the 0 is 1. And then you can punch that in your calculator. You get 1.986. Okay, and that's your answer. I'm going to do some more videos, and I hope you'll check those out. But just remember, the main thing is just drawing a picture of it and getting that rectangle in there. Once you get the rectangle in there, everything's easy to fill out. Okay, and just make sure when you draw that rectangle that it's drawn parallel to the axis you're revolving it about. Alright, thanks.